I mentioned in the previous video that I had a small grow tent. What I meant was I have a small two-tier greenhouse. And so when I brought the peppers in from outside, I thought this was important to state. When I brought them in from outside, they went straight into here. And this was a different variable from what I did the previous years. So instead of just having them sit in the sunroom with the other plants, because I have many plants in my sunroom, I separated them from the fruit plants that I keep in here and my regular house plants, and I put them in this grow tent, a different environment. So I had two heating mats in here, which I'm going to have to admit that I did run these heating mats quite some time, in the sunroom while they were in here, just to keep it warmer when I needed it at night. And then I would keep the lights on at various times during the day, but the lights were on a lot because I have, if you can see, I have four fluorescent lights atop, and they worked wonders because my peppers from outside wouldn't stop growing, and they kept on putting out flowers. And I had peppers on my pepper plants, fruits during the winter time. And I know it's still winter, that's only February 24th, but I had success growing these things inside. And it wasn't easy because this is my first year actually succeeding with this thing. And I've watched tons of videos, did tons of things, and I had to figure out how to get these things to grow inside in my environment. And so I think this grow tent was part of it. When they outgrew the grow tent, I placed them in here. The greenhouse, I placed them in the grow tent. And this was about 4 weeks ago. And as you know, some of these peppers were on the grown way before 4 weeks. But this tree, this ghost pepper, took off when placed in here. More light. I don't know. It's not as warm as it was in the greenhouse because I make sure to ventilate. So here, the peppers from outside, I didn't over winterize them, as some other people would say. I wanted them to grow because I was afraid that if I over winterize them for the winter, that they may die, because some people said you will have some success and some will die. And I did have some die. I had them die because they were 2-3 in a pot. But here, they actually grew to a significant size inside the greenhouse and then the grow tent. And having this grow tent really helped a lot. So I think you have to have a type of technique. I say watch the videos and figure out, put the different pieces together and figure out what will work for you, because I really wanted to walk into my sunroom and take peppers off my plants and use them when I cook, because my family loves spicy food. And so we were able to do that from the end of December on. We were able to take peppers off these trees and use them. And so that is something that I am amazed at, because the previous years I was picking up dead leaves and trying to figure out, how to get these bugs out of my house. And let me tell you, it was not fun wondering why the leaves were dropping, and then looking very closely at your plants and seeing these tiny little bugs marching up and down the stems and the leaves. I had to take those plants out of my house. I wasn't having it. And so this year I tried the greenhouse, and then I moved them here to the grow tent, and they're growing wonderfully. And then these are the other three, and I put a light on them to make sure they get an adequate light in too. But as you can see, I have 3 more of those plants down here, and it works, So those came in from outside too, and they're growing. They're growing based on the treatment that I'm giving them. They get light about 18 hours a day. and it's not the high powered light that everyone is talking about you need. Those fluorescent lights, I believe, are 24 watts each, and then in the greenhouse, in the grow tent, I have 245, and I do have 1,000, which I only put on for 6 hours for the day, because I figure the grow tent is much bigger than that small portable greenhouse. But they are fruiting, as you can see, and they look healthy.